Hey, Millie, what is wrong with you?
Excuse me?
It's about the dishes that you cooked. The menus are all exactly the same year. You've got to be kidding me. So that's how you try to slack off. I made a mistake by even asking someone like you who doesn't care about anything to help me out. I don't need a useless wife like you.
I just had enough and my patience out.
Is that so? If you don't need me, then I'll go home.
My name is Millie. I am 33 years old and I am a housewife. It's been 3 years since I married my husband, Jake, but I have a problem. And that was my mother-in-law, Evelyn. I don't know whether Evelyn loves to bully her daughter-in-law in general or if she hates me or both. But she is very mean in any case. When I think back, Evelyn has been with us since the very beginning of our marriage.
Hey, Millie, why are you sitting there?
Excuse me?
You really are a useless wife.
I went to visit my in-laws on a day that wasn't even New Year's Eve or day. Evelyn greeted me with a smile, but was talking with my father-in-law in the living room. She suddenly turned towards me and began to treat me horribly. When Evelyn began to act that way, surprised,
Hey, why are you acting like that? Millie here came into our family to wife.
Roy defended me like that, but even was also strong-willed and argued back.
Firsts are always crucial here. The mother-in-law is supposed to be strict in guiding her daughter-in-law anyway.
What you're saying is too outdated.
Roy argued back at her, but she didn't step back down either.
Who cares if it's outdated or not? Saying this for Millia's sake.
I felt awful that I was caught in the middle of the argument between Evelyn and Roy, and it was only resolved when I said, "I'm sorry, Evelyn, and thank you for covering for me." But the interaction I had with them since then has all been terrible. They would harass and bully me, muttering things like, "It's all your fault, you know." Because of this, I immediately decided to visit Evelyn and Roy during the holiday events such as Thanksgiving or Christmas. While Roy was defending me, my own didn't seem to be interested in what was happening to me at all and was just watching TV. I had to deal with my in-laws, but I think my husband was the worst. Normally, if your own wife is being bullied, your husband should protect her. It was incredible that Jake would get involved when his own husband's father was getting angry at him. I was completely disappointed in jail, but still felt that it was somehow wrong to divorce her right away. After all, I had fallen in love with this person to marry, so it was important for both of us to come to terms with each other first. About a year later, it was a New Year's gathering at Eve Roy's house. At that time, all the relatives had their house, and it was like a big party.
Hey, Millie, what are you even doing? You are the wife of my eldest son-in-law and family, so you better move around. You're so slow at everything.
Evelyn still bullied me every time, but I did move around from the beginning. I prepared all the dishes for banquets in the first place, and I was the first to carry them. Plus, I'm greeting the relatives with drinks for them, so I didn't want Evelyn to say such an order me around like that. But Evelyn said some terrible thing to all their relatives like this.
It really bothers me that Millie is such an uncaring wife. I really do feel sorry for Jake, who, useless, hopeless wife. They've only been married for a year, so maybe it wouldn't hurt for Jake another, better person.
Evelyn would laugh loudly while say, "Like that." I was absolutely mortified. I had known that Evelyn could bully me this bad. Most of her relatives who knew her better than new didn't believe what she said and gave her a cold shoulder. Roy is willing to cover up for me if he notices something was going on, but there are so many of us here He can't be everywhere at once. So that's why Evelyn says whatever she wants. And my husband is completely unaware of what was happening to me. He drinks a lot, eats a lot, and then lies down and goes to sleep by himself. I was furious that my husband didn't protect me at all. So I decided to over with him when we got home.
Hey, have you noticed that I'm always being bullied by your own mother? What?
Bullied? Who's bullying who?
I am being bullied by your mother. God, are you not listening to what I'm saying?
What? You're too loud.
It's because you're not interested happening to me at all, you know? Normally, when you hear someone is being harassed or bullied, you would want to protect them, right?
Are you sure that you're being real by Mom? If you're complaining about it, then it must be awful. But if that was the case, I would have noticed it already. If I don't notice it, that means it's good at all, right? You say that like it's important, as if you're making a big deal out of it.
What the heck are you saying? Your father argues back to your mother because of what she says about me. If you don't even notice that, then something wrong with you.
What do you mean by, huh? There's nothing wrong with me.
Roy is covering for me instead of you. You're my husband, but you're just not interested in me. So, I guess it's...
Well, if you insist that much, then watch you carefully at our next gathering. If I decide that Mom's bullying you, warn my mom.
My husband and I had quite an argument anyway. He said he would take my sister Evelyn bullied me, so we decided to see. Then a few months passed, and they had their family gathering for the summer holidays. Even there, Evelyn continued to say things about me to the relatives.
You know, Millie hardly ever shows. I mean, I do want to talk to her, you know. She's a housewife, so she should be during the day, but she's always too busy to come. She actually really doesn't like me. How sad. Is it my fault that my own daughter doesn't like me?
This time, Evelyn made me look bad down to me like I was looking down when I wasn't. Sure, I don't like Evelyn, but that she bullies me. If I had left that out, it would have sounded like I had an awful personality. I looked at my husband. My husband looked at Evelyn, this tin, listened. But even though Evelyn was talking behind my back to the relatives, Jay started talking to other relatives in the middle of the conversation and started getting back into drinking at the dishes again without paying any attention to Evelyn. When we got home, I questioned my husband about his behavior.
Hey, why didn't you cover up for me?
What do you mean?
When Evelyn said terrible things to me.
But Mom was only saying the truth.
Excuse me?
Since you don't visit my parents often, is it natural for you to think that Mom might not like you? You're a little too self-centered to believe that Mom was talking trash about you when she's enjoying herself, aren't you? The world doesn't revolve around you, you know.
I was just stunned and speechless. Why should I be offended in such a... It was Evelyn's fault and my husband for not realizing it. I have become very disappointed with my husband. I wondered if I could stay married person. I thought about it, but I'm now just a housewife and I had quit my job when I got married. So even if I get divorced right now, not be able to live on my own. If that's the case, I have to first start job hunting and decide on a job. But the reality is that things are not so easy, and I keep getting rejected for interviews. Will I ever be able to leave my husband? But I could not give up at this point. I continued my job hunt without giving up. I realized that time had already passed the point where the end of the year approaching, but that meant I had to attend the gathering again. If I hadn't attended, not only my family, but also Evelyn would have said this and that, and I wouldn't have known how many terrible rumors had been spread among my relatives when I was absent. I went with my husband to his parents' house, hoping that this would be the last time we would have to attend if possible. Evelyn was still waiting for me. She was going to harass me.
Oh, Millie, you're so late. Hurry up and begin preparing for cock meals.
Is there anything else you would like to know?
I obeyed and started cooking. It was hard work, but at least I got to cook for a lot of people. I was able to finish cooking early. Relatives had already started to R in there. I greeted them with a New Year's greeting. Then, Evelyn suddenly came to me with an angry look on her face.
It's about the dishes that you cook.
Oh, that's because...
So, that's how you try to slack off? What kind of nerve do you even have to say that my relatives eat the same food again?
Evelyn was furious.
It's not that I was slacking off or...
My husband was nearby, so I asked to help as my last hope.
Hey, can you say something too?
If he doesn't take my side on this, I'll leave him. I asked my husband, as I thought that to myself. But, as I should have expected, he took my side.
You were slacking off, weren't you? Cooking and making the same menus as last year is nothing but slacking off. Shame on you. Slacking off that.
Oh my God.
Hearing Jake say that and agreeing Evelyn was saying, she used this as advantage. And what was most shocking was that started throwing the food I cooked trash.
What are you doing?
You can't make my relatives eat the menu. I'm going to order some pizzas now. You're going to pay for everyone's.
Mom, that's a great idea. Millie, this is what you deserve as your punishment.
With that, my husband started calling around to different pizza restaurants. Then Evelyn, with a look of triumph face, said this to me.
I don't need a useless wife like you. So hurry up and clean these dishes, cook instantly.
I just had enough and my patience out.
If you don't need me, then I'll go home.
I beg your pardon?
Both my husband and Evelyn looks really surprised. But I was ready to leave, and I didn't care about their reactions.
I've just run out of patience, so I'm divorcing you.
Oh, hey, wait a minute.
My husband rushed after me, but I ran out of my in-laws' house. Then I got in my car and drove home my bags and went back to my own par house. My parents were surprised, but were when they heard what had happened. Then I was relaxing at my parents' eating New Year's. Dishes my mother for the first time in a long time. My husband was calling me nonstop, ignored all of them, and the next day called again, so I had no choice but answer.
Hey, where are you, Millie?
I'm back at my parents' place. I've already packed up my belongings, brought them back, so all I have to divorce you.
No way. Are you really being serious?
Of course.
Isn't it because of my mom? So why are you divorcing me?
How stupid can you be? I have asked you for help so many, and yet you didn't help me at all. Of course, you attacked me with Evelyn. How can I stay married to someone one?
No way. Please, don't divorce me. A lot is happening back at home with my parents.
My husband told me what happened after I left, even though I didn't even ask. After I left, Evelyn and Jake said, "Useless wife," and then Jake saw that his cousin's 5-year-old son had been watching everything happen the whole time. Realizing he was there, Evelyn asked, "Oh, what's wrong, sweetie?" And when she saw the dishes thrown in the trash, she suddenly began to cry.
My favorite dishes are all thrown out.
As the boy began to cry, Evan panicked and called her older sister, Laura, who happened to be nearby.
Hey! Why is my grandson crying?
Evelyn was upset because she had always been afraid of Laura, and she began to panic. Then, a relative who was watching the thing told Laura that Evelyn had told her to cook the same menus I did last year and had thrown the food in the trash. When Laura heard all the story, she was furious.
What the hell did you do? I'm the one who asked Millie to make menus as last year.
What is the best way to get rid of a cold sore?
She made everything that my grandson, who is really allergic to many things, could eat. So I asked her to make more of these for next year, too.
No way. I ordered these pizzas, but they're not that good.
Are you kidding me? My grandson can't eat cheese. Now, he can't eat anything because of one.
I'm so sorry.
That's enough. We're going home. We'll never come to your house for years gathering again.
Laura said. Sowen apparently took her cousin and his wife and Laura's grand home with her. Plus, Laura was more beloved by all relatives than Evelyn, and also, when she heard that Evelyn was throwing away dishes, many of them thought it was a shame. When Roy found out what was going on, he became very angry and told Evelyn, "We're getting a divorce." My husband was also blamed by Roy's relatives for not protecting his own wife. And he also had to pay for all the about 30 people who attended the funeral.
I had to pay a lot for everyone. No. I saved money to buy things I wanted, but now I can't buy them. Since I've been punished like this, just forgive me.
What on earth was he saying?
That has nothing to do with me and deserved it. Anyway, I can't be with you anymore divorcing you. Let's get in touch about the rest of the lawyer.
Oh no, not again.
I then just hung up the phone. After that, I asked my father to int to a lawyer who he recommended. It seems that Evelyn was really bar Roy and Evelyn, who had been a housewife. Her whole life, had no job, and so she could not depend on Jake. But my ex-husband said, "It's your fault this happened," and blamed Evelyn for everything. She seems to be mentally distraught. Then Evelyn stopped doing any housework altogether because she was too mentally distressed. So Jake had to do all the household chores himself and pay for their living expenses out of his own salary, which was definitely tough on him. I, on the other hand, have successfully found a new job and am now working as an office worker. Now I am thinking of looking for a while saving money.
It's absolutely not right to throw food, and there's no need for a husband literally bullies his own wife. Really glad that Millie got away from a bad husband and her crappy mother-in-law.
I wish her all the happiness in her now on.
Thank you for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you in our next video.